Hello Summoners and welcome to another episode of FEHology, the study of Fire Emblem Heroes. My name is Joel and I'm here to talk about Summoner Duels Ranked today. Just wanted to go over my experience and how it went. It has been such a busy week, just with all the stuff going on with my family and then, just poring over video, looking at different strategies that people use, and I gotta tell you, it pushed me to the very last minute to the point where I was 3 hours before reset and I was scrambling trying to get my matches done. What ensued was about a 2-hour stretch where I just played the game straight, which is a ton. And I think that's one of the major complaints about this game. This is an incredibly intense and competitive mode in a game that most people feel is casual. It has been interesting. I will say that as tiers get sorted, I think the game will feel easier just because your Omega Whales and your high-level players will be going against each other. One of the things that I will say, though, is I think the meta is starting to sort itself out, which is also going to alleviate some of the frustration. I mean, you know your team needs to survive a hit from Yuri, it needs to kill Fallen Edelgard, it needs to counter Vantage, and it needs to kill some form of Brave Hector, right? These are things that just have to be done. Now, I will say quickly, I would look for units that do multiple things. If you've got a unit that can cover multiple areas of these, then fantastic. One of the things I'll say, though, is this is not a mode for your favorites. I'm sorry about that. I like that's a little sad to me, but it's just not. This is going to be whatever the cutting edge of meta is. And I mean, for me, it just happened to run into Eitri, which is fantastic. But I mean, when we're past this map, though, this map kind of ignores 3 ranged cavalry units to an extent. But we go to another map and she's not going to be as useful. So it's interesting. I will say that it's still winnable with good gameplay. The team you're seeing here, I mean, I have a ton of merges on Eitri. Obviously, she's +10, and then I have a ton of merges on Legendary Azura. These are both highly invested units. But the other ones of these, like that's a +0 Catria. This is I think this is +2, which basically +3. Oof. I just went to the Spark on that, so I got lucky on getting that many of her. But then we have Joshua, which is, we'll talk about him, but this is another one that I just sparked on. He fills a role that I needed desperately. So this is still winnable with good gameplay, but you have to be willing to adapt and change out your players, which is tough because we get locked into a certain unit and we don't want to go away from that because we love them. The last thing I'll say is if you have complaints, send them in. Seriously, IS listens to those. They really do. Let's go over what exactly happened. And I have to do just a little bit of bragging. I am so proud of this. This was a lot of work, and at one point the small human woke up and I had to actually play while trying to get the small human to sleep, so it was interesting. But rank 40 I think is fantastic. I cannot be happier with that. Let's dive in. I want to look at this match first. So I have started looking at the meta and what exactly needs to be countered. And the hard part is I think it's going to be different per map. Like, that's going to be tough. But for this map, and probably for other maps as well, like as we go along, we'll see. But there are different types of teams that you have to counter. And the first I want to talk about is mine. Let's actually look at how this team works before we go any further here.
But I'm begging you.
This is one of the early matches. I wanted to show this. This is the wrong match. Let's back up and find the correct one. Where did you go? Right there. I wanted to show this match because this is the dreaded Fallen Edelgard, and this is a unit that is just plaguing the meta right now. Once again, like every time we think that she stopped being annoying, that's a +5, she comes back and proves that she is in fact very annoying. All right, so we've got, I mean, this is about as typical a setup as you can get, right? Fallen Edelgard, Brave Erica, all we need is Yuri here. I don't think they can fit that, but Dancer Azura, or Horse Azura. The reason I was so happy with this is kind of a proof of concept where I needed to be able to kill this unit in one round. The hard part with Edelgard is it sometimes takes multiple rounds, and that's tough. This is a unit that is well covered all the way around. Their goal is to stall you out until their Fallen Edelgard can take you out. And this is fantastic here. This was a gift that I was able to open up this spot. And so much of this map is controlling these 4 squares. It's huge. So then we have, this is fantastic. So we've got Quad Eitri coming in and taking out that Ascendant Fjorm. And keep in mind, I mean, that means that this Eitri outsped her. So that's exactly what this design is meant to do. And then we have Omni Sweep Joshua coming in and killing Fallen Edelgard. That is huge. Like, that is exactly how this team is supposed to work. Keep in mind, like, the requirements for here are your Dancer that gives 3 movement, which, I mean, there are 2 of now, and most people have a Legendary Azura. Ashe, which was free. You can see this was actually before I had switched over to the other build. And then Katria, which most people had to get because she was such a staple on the defense. These 2 units just need to be complementary. One needs to take out one kind of unit, and the other needs to take out the other. Here, the fact that they are 2, one is melee damage, or one is physical damage, and one is magical, means that the annoying deflect magic seal doesn't take effect here on Joshua. So that is the basic idea. Let's go back. We wanted to talk about meta. And the first type of team that you see a lot of are these hyper nukes. And that is 100% what I'm going for. Like, this team, I think Far Save Armors are 100% overrated. I think their mobility is bad, and they inhibit the kind of game style that I want to play, which is very adaptive. I want to be able to go different directions very quickly, and I want to be able to apply pressure. The key is, to win against this team, you have to be able to stall them. That means you need to either make a good sacrifice or you need to be able to take a hit. That's why you see, I don't know if you guys have seen the Hardy Fighter Brave Hector, which has distant defense 4. Like, you've taken everything that's Hector about Hector and gotten rid of it. Okay. So we've applied pressure here so that they've had to move. I think this is absolutely fantastic because I'm about to open up this spot and take control over this here. Now, the problem is my Joshua has 2 jobs. He needs to take out Flora, and he needs to take out Hinoka. His Flora at +8 is pretty highly merged. The hope here was that I would be able to take out Flora, and then I could tank Hinoka, which obviously I did not. The reason is, and I should have gone back there, she was completely debuffed, and so had +6 to attack and speed, which was unfortunate as all get out. Panic to high heaven, and that was why she was able to get that extra 70 damage, and it just screwed me. So from here, Like, they have successfully slowed me down. I have no counter for Brave Marth. I literally have to work on taking out every unit but Brave Marth. And since I know I get 2 turns next up, I'm going to try it that way. Now, my big problem here is I was hoping that Ashe could take out Katria, which didn't happen. She could not take out Katria. It made me sad. So I was hoping to take out 2 other units, and you'll see I chose wrong here. I chose Azura. I should have chose Katria. But in this, I'm not sure. I think the moment I lost Joshua, like, this was lost. I was trying so hard to have them have some sort of misplay, and honestly, they just played this brilliantly. Like, jumping in front, they used orders to perfection. Jumping in front with Marth, I was then hoping that maybe with 3 hits, I could possibly take him down, because I get to go first next time. So I would, but I saw that that Laser Cow did not get the job done. And so basically at this point, I'm on the run, and that move there is just freaking brilliant. So I can't take out Katria. We've already established that. And that means they make sure that they get a unit here, and you can see the score. All they need is 1 to even it up, and they can easily get 2 kills here. Now, at this point, we've already discussed it. Like, I can't take out their unit, so I just feed my team to them because honestly, they deserved it, because it's a really good match. Like, they really came in clutch, and yeah, it was nice. So we move along here. The only reason they hit that duo skill was to stall an extra turn so that they could make sure to get their players into position, which wasn't needed. I mean, I could not communicate that I was just kamikazeing, but that's how you try to counter those hyper nuke teams, is you have to stall them, and that can be really difficult. On my team, for instance, that Laser Cow, one of her jobs is to survive a lethality Yuri, which she does with that build. Let's move on here though, and let's go to Omega Tanks. Where's my 273 match? There it is. And once again, we're gonna have my nemesis here, Legendary Marth. I've seen this strategy done with Fallen Edelgard. I think she does it amazingly. I've seen it done with Noe. I think she also does it amazingly, and she's free to play. I've seen it done with Cyros, both varieties. Essentially, you are stat stacking on 1 unit. And now this is a variation of that, but you have Azura with a hyper movement, and you have these 2 buffing each other. They could have gone all the way in and done like a legendary Elowood instead of the E-Tree. That is like the common one. But they wanted to have a little bit more maneuverability. And I'm going to show you what their plan was with that legendary E-Tree, and I like it a lot. So they come up here, and their goal, look at that threat range. That is amazing. Like, if you don't have a unit that can tank E-Tree, then you are stuck there while they get everyone else into position. It's fantastic. Now, we're back into that same spot where Yuri has to take out 2 units. I can't take out these units any other way, although there's a possibility with Marth that I could take out everyone else and leave him to the end. I don't often get a choice as to what units I get to take out. Like, that's hard. Now, I did some very, very quick calculations, and because this is a minus speed E-Tree, she doesn't double Ashe. That's huge because I've played this before, and if she doubles Ashe, she can take her out. So basically, she has the auto double, then she can double with speed. It's bad. So now, since they didn't take the free Ashe kill, I know that E-Tree, I'm in the clear with her. I go ahead and push even further, and you can see once I take that square, I cover literally the entire map except for that square. So I've taken a hyper nuke strategy and I've changed it into a stall strategy a little bit here. But I mean, the whole thing that made that possible, of course, is the hyper nuke portion. Now we can play the slow game here and watch as they try to get everyone situated. Now, big important thing, remember, I can't sacrifice Joshua. Joshua has to stay alive. Whew. All right, so I think they just got frustrated there and realized that this was going to be a long match. Oh, no. I remember now. They waited too long. Oh, that was so good. Yeah. What they were waiting for, they were trying to figure out a move and it actually ticked all the way down. So that's it. Like, that's game. They went into auto battle, but I'm still trying to be very careful because I don't want to screw this up. Luckily, I can get over, take Marth out, and I get the first turn because I killed their captain. See, I'm still being hyper cautious because I do not want to sacrifice Joshua because I need him for Marth, but they have already given up, and that's that match. So, hyper nukes. Ugh. I mean, not hyper nukes, sorry, Omega tanks. It's so much pre-planning, summoners. Like, I had to run so many sims. It's the reason Bridal Catria is on this map, 100%. Like, I needed a unit that could take out a Fallen Edelgard in one round. And Bridal Catria combined with these other two units was the only way. I mean, you guys saw I tried very long and hard to make AoE work, and it works on some variants of Fallen Edelgard, but there's so many +10s running around. Once you do that, normally the hyper tank strategies they don't get to move very far. So they let you set up nicely, but you have to have that unit. All right. That's why you see a lot of happies, by the way. It's why she is so good. The last one I want to talk about is the most common. And this is the far save warping variety. And I mean, you see this everywhere. Like, this is on this map. This is probably the most powerful strategy there is. I mean, obviously, if you have the right units. Where did you go? There you are. Can we have a showcase without looking at Brave Hector? Is that a possible thing? And I mean, again, like, this is the team you see everywhere, right? You've got Yuri, you've got Blazing Wind Yuri, which is a huge problem for me because Shield Pulse, I mean, you don't even take into consideration that when you're doing Blazing Wind. So we've got Brave Erica. You guys knew that was going, right? And we've got a +10 Brave Hector with Deflect Magic. So this is specifically designed to counter Catria. You're going to see the same opening you've seen a bunch of times. This is great. So this is the same kind of thing you were looking at with Eitri, where they're going to threaten a large amount of range. And the thing I love so much about this strategy is that it is adaptable and you can wait to pounce. This is their mistake. So the problem is this sets up so quickly that I generally have 2 actions at the very end, and they have not danced Yuri. If they would have danced Yuri, that threat range would have continued, and I wouldn't have been able to do a dang thing about it. Since they dance him, I can simply scoot Joshua up. And this is a huge problem for them because now I have 2 units that can go after their units. I am very, very lucky here. If this was a hardy fighter, Brave Hector, I would not have been able to do this because I need Catria up there and I wasn't able to put her in her usual position. Okay, so the reason that is huge is because that was their captain. Since their captain's gone, Yuri is vulnerable this turn because I get 2 actions. I'm going to pause right there. This is something you're going to see a lot with these far save warping teams. Once their far save unit is done, the rest of the team generally doesn't do well, just because their strategy is shot. They've got to completely pivot, and that's hard to do. They're already out of position, and their far save unit is done. That means you've got to push now, because they still have a lot of very usable units here with Erica and Yuri. And they are 100% on the run here. The only reason I used that harmonized skill there was to stall. I needed both of my units available to attack, and I didn't have it. So you remember their captain's gone, so I know I get to move first, and that's why Eitri moved up here to take out Yuri. That happens, and it's oh happy day. And as you know, Laser Cow can't double when she's not next to people, and really here they have given up, and they're just they're just looking to do some damage, which I get. I would never ever look down on somebody for doing that. There's Quad Joshua. Oh, that unit is so good. So, yeah, summoners. This is about how my time went. Again, so much tape. I cannot tell you how many videos I watched. I even watched 1,000's videos, and I say even. It's not that he is a bad streamer at all. He's amazing, but I don't speak the language. So, yeah, I'm watching this thing that I don't speak the language. I can't even read like what's written on the character sheets. So I'm watching different strategies and what work, and I'm trying to figure out what skills are what. But yeah, I desperately needed to figure out a team composition that worked. If you're in the Discord, you know that I am not a huge fan of Ashe, or haven't been. I think with this build, I have changed my mind, and I am definitely more on the Ashe bandwagon. We'll see how much I use her. Definitely, as this map goes into rotation, I will probably look to use the same team comp again. But, yeah. All right. There is one last thing I want to talk about, and then I'll let you guys go. And that's the fact that I think originality is wildly overrated. I see a lot of folks trying to make new and different things, and I appreciate that. I love you for it, but understand that most of us are going to be taking what other people do and tweaking it to our liking. I always think of the Phoenix Master 1 guides to legendary and to abyssal legendary maps, right? And you think of back in the day before duos came to be, and those were really hard. And so you would take something that Phoenix Master 1 did, and then you would try to modify it for your units. So you would go to the expert, right? And so I just wanted to give a shout out here. None of this team is original. Not a single bit. This is Riven in the Discord. This is his Azura, and he calls this the Aversa we have at home, which I loved. But that sudden panic is just huge. This Katria, this is actually from one of the players. I guess he's actually ranked 3, and I didn't know it at the time. It was actually from 1000's stream. And I saw this Katria and how she was used, and I just absolutely fell in love. This Ashe, I wish I could remember who exactly used this Shield Pulse Ashe that I saw. I would give you credit, but I can't. I will say that the ZYC in our Discord told me that they were using this and that it was working well, and that's one of the things that pushed me over the edge to do this. The one that I saw before was actually using the Attack Defense Unity and then Pavis, and I needed this to be a ranged tank, so that's where this whole Shield Pulse came around. That was a very expensive piece of fodder. I don't want to talk about the legendary Corrin that died to make that build. This is from a player that I am positive is tired of me following them around. This is from Yuri Bird, and I hadn't thought about using this unit in this mode, and I don't know why. The beauty of this unit is essentially you get 3 B skills. In the tome here, you've got Omni Sweep, which is obviously better than Wind Sweep because it also works against dragons. You've got a Lull, which is huge against the legendary Marth folks. And you've got True Damage, although that comes into play less. And then of course you got Slang, which is nice. But then you got Null Follow-Up. So these are 3 of the 4 B skills that you really need. The 4th being some sort of Canto or Trace. Sorry, you can't put Canto and B skill, so just Trace. That makes this unit very, very valuable. Especially the fact that Omni Sweep doesn't have a speed condition. Like, that's huge. The last unit is obviously Eitri, and I said none of this is mine, but this unit is 100% mine. Like, this is definitely my creation here. Although you could definitely argue that speed stacking is not anything new or novel. Yes, Eitri, we know your evil designs. That's all I have for today. So, in summation, and we talked about at the beginning, I think this mode is going to be more enjoyable when the tiers sort themselves out. I like that they're starting to form a meta, so you know a little bit more about what you're going to get into. Make sure you're looking for units like Joshua that do multiple things for your teams, and don't be stuck on your team. Understand you're going to have to swap things in and out. The last thing I've said at the top, if you have complaints, send them in. IS listens. Summoners, I hope your experience was good. I hope it wasn't too frustrating because I have heard a lot of frustrations. But yeah, keep on playing. It's too early to give up on this game mode just yet. Keep that in mind. So this is me signing out. I hope you have a good day. Take care and schedule an appointment with your FEHologist real soon.